This is Justin Kittle with WrestlingFigureNews.com and Figure Friday, and I am at San Diego Comic-Con 2025 in the Jazwares booth, and I'm joined by a special guest, Daniel Jung, brand manager for AEW. Thanks for doing this, Daniel.
Thank you, Justin, for your time today.
I am so psyched to talk to you. I know that there's a lot of excitement around AEW and the Jazwares line that you have. You've revealed a lot. We've seen Supreme Will Osprey, a new Swerve Strickland. There's lots of cool figures in the case. You've got rotating TVs, console TVs, showing off future waves, renders. So tell me a little bit about what you're most excited about to show off here today.
So if you noticed, we had 3 different TVs. One shows kind of like live event stuff. One TV is focused on our future mainline releases, and other TV shows kind of our future Vault releases. So if you tune into AEW by Jazwares, we've shown clear renders of all the Vault exclusives. Today we're going to show a closer look at all of the mainline releases. And so with that, this was meant to be like a sneak peek for the San Diego Comic-Con fans of everything that we've been working on, and this was just kind of like a sneak peek to show like what the next few waves look like. So in the near future, AEW by Jazwares will be announcing like what waves each of these characters are part of, and along with like a release cadence.
That's great, because I know a lot of people are wondering what are the waves these are in. You know, when are they coming? When can we get them? And a lot of people are asking about Will Osprey, because that was a figure that was announced last year, the Supreme Edition. It was going to be Walmart. It looks like it's going to be Jazwares Vault now from the sticker on the product on the shelf down there. So anything you can share with us about, you know, how soon that might be hitting, when we can get that, and where we can get that, because Jazwares Vault's obviously one of those places.
Well, funny you asked that. We do have a panel tomorrow at 10 a.m. at room 6A. You'll get some more details on where you can order and how you can order it. Our main goal with the Will Osprey was, because it's such a highly sought after item, we wanted to try to find a way that more fans can be able to access it, because sometimes we've been seeing some comments about, oh, I want this item, but can't always get it. And so we found a different strategy for this item, and tomorrow you'll find some more details and you might hear a special message from someone.
There were a lot of figures revealed for Jazwares Vault. We've seen a lot of things come through the Vault recently. We've seen this Legacy of Sting 3-pack. That's been a primary source for Ring of Honor. How do you see using the Vault in the future? Can we see more releases come through there?
So we really want to look at not just Vault, but also our other partners such as Ringside Collectibles. And as you may know, we also have a partnership with Major. Our goal is always to make sure that we don't cannibalize each other, but use all of these platforms to diversify our offering. And so with the Vault, that's kind of the exclusive home for Ring of Honor products at this time. And we started out doing a lot of like old school Ring of Honor, but moving forward, we also want to get kind of the present day Ring of Honor talent into the line as well. And so if you had a chance to see that TV, you'll notice that there's some current stars as well as some veterans. And our goal is just to get as many of the different talent out to the fans, because everyone has their own favorite, right? So we just want to make sure that we can super serve all of our fans.
Yeah, I noticed Athena Colt Cabana, who is been missing from basically any modern scale line out there, other than, I think, Figures Toy Company way back. Yep. You've got Christopher Daniels, the Outrunners, who are AEW tag team. Looking forward to that pack. So lots of good stuff coming there. Now, you mentioned the partnership with Major that you're doing, and we've seen the Big Rubber guys that they're doing that with them. But as far as Jazwares goes, I know that you've got the Smart Mark Sterling coming up, and I want to know, what does that partnership unlock for getting more figures into the wave, or into the line?
So with the Major crew, as you know, there's a lot of figure fanatics in that group, and we're trying to find a way to make sure that the same customer that can shop at a Vault or at Ringside Collectibles can still go to Major for an additional type of offering, and Smart Mark Sterling is just the first of many more that we want to work with the Major team on. And so in the coming months, you'll probably start seeing some more announcements through our channels.
So do you see that as quarterly, monthly, or is there a cadence that you're looking at for those?
So at this time, since we just started our partnership with them not too long ago, we're kind of looking at what kind of wave cadence makes the most sense. Our goal is to always make sure that we don't overproduce, but at the same time, we don't want to starve the fans for too long. And so we're working closely with the major team to see what makes the most sense for them in terms of their release cadence. So as soon as we kind of hone all those details, the public will find out more details soon.
You've done a great job with event-exclusive figures, the Will Osprey all-in, the MJF all-in figure. You've got Premier Edition figures that are hitting Shop AEW. Do you see more pay-per-view events, tie-ins that you can tap into in the future?
So Target exclusives do have a pay-per-view series, which is usually 4 a year. And those are based on certain pay-per-views, but something like All In or a special event, maybe even like Forbidden Door in the future. There's many opportunities that we have that we can kind of leverage to do these exclusives. And so as long as it kind of makes sense and it's celebrating a key moment and there's a storytelling to it, that's our main goal with how we offer these exclusives.
AEW has many partnerships. They're working with CMLL. They're working with New Japan. You mentioned Forbidden Door, which taps into all of that. Do you see an opportunity there for characters to come from CMLL and New Japan and get into these waves, possibly as Jazwares Vault exclusives or something like that?
So I can't share too much at the moment, but there are certain conversations that are being had to see like what types of opportunities we can leverage, because as you mentioned, there are other partnerships that kind of have that appearances from certain special talent. And so when the timing is right, I think there could be opportunity there. I don't want to make any promises today, but it's definitely something that our team is keeping an eye on and wants to try to find an opportunity for.
It's a big world to tap into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mentioned the Will Osprey Supreme. A lot of folks were excited about the Jon Moxley Blood and Guts Supreme. That's going to be a ringside exclusive, and I think that's up for pre-order now. There's a lot of interest in the Blood and Guts line as well as Supreme figures, and it's great to see sort of a crossover there between the two. But as far as Supremes go, do you think that we can get more of a cadence that is more figures? Because it was really 2 figures a year through Walmart before. So do you see tapping into that sort of premium figure line more in the future?
So I'm not sure how much the public knows this or not, but that Blood and Guts figure does use the Supreme bodies. And so we've seen a lot of success with that, and there's a lot of like demand for Supremes. And so our goal is kind of updating our brand strategy in creative ways to try to get more Supreme out there, not just through Walmart, but we want to be able to offer that opportunity through our other retail partners as well. So there's a lot in the works, and so there's definitely potential to see more than just 2 a year.
AEW has a very hard-hitting style. I mentioned the Blood and Guts. I know collectors love that line. It's been exclusive to Ringside Collectibles. Can we expect more Blood and Guts in the future, more 2-packs tapping into some of those key rivalries, things like that in the future?
Absolutely. The Blood and Guts line is a line that our team really enjoys making. And so we have a lot of opportunities with the AEW programming where you do see a lot of blood, and there have been some matches that we haven't covered quite yet. And so we definitely want to bring those to life in the future as well.
I mentioned the Legacy of Sting 3-pack, and that really taps into historical figures, legends, and that's something that's been a hallmark of Jeremy Padawer, who's the chief brand officer at Jazwares, and he created the classic Superstars line back in the day, and I know that there's an appetite for a lot of legends who have an affiliation with AEW. So do you see tapping into some more historical figures in the future in the line?
So absolutely, we do want to continue to release more Luminaries figures. When it comes to maybe certain talent, they do need to be affiliated with AEW in some form because this is an AEW line. However, if there are opportunities for certain Legends deals, we'd love to pursue it. At this time, I would need to find out more details on what's feasible or not, but we definitely want to tap into that market more.
Is there a challenge in getting some of those classic looks too? Like, the one that keeps coming up that I hear about is Taz. You know, he's a commentator in AEW, but he has the history as a wrestler in ECW and another company. But I mean, a lot of people want that ECW look of him. So is there a challenge in tapping into some of those IPs?
It is case by case, but we would need, just to give you a little bit of inside baseball, we would need legal clearance. So if it's something that is legally cleared that doesn't conflict with certain other divisions, then it opens up more opportunities. But if it is restricted, we aren't able to touch those segments. So those are things that we always look into closely to make sure that we can offer these types of opportunities. And we also have been hearing a lot about Taz, and so he's a fan favorite, and if the opportunity is right, we definitely want to look into that more.
And it looks like you've done that too, as far as like Sting goes, where a couple of those looks, the Surfer Sting, the not quite WCW, but kind of WCW Crow era Sting before, where they're kind of maybe mashups of different looks. Is that sort of an area you see playing in?
Absolutely. As long as we're allowed to do it, that's what we would look into. In the case of the Legacy of Sting, we really wanted to immortalize his storied career. He's such an amazing human being. Like, every time I've met him, we're just such good friends. And so we really wanted to capitalize on that legacy. And so what we did with the Legacy of Sting 3-pack is, because he has so many different looks, we kind of, I don't want to call it a mashup per se, but we wanted to represent each of those looks. So even if it's not one-to-one from an event from 1983, we wanted to make sure that we could really capture the essence of Sting. And when we got the opportunity to unbox that with him at All In, it was just so heartwarming just to see his reaction. And just, I grew up with watching Sting as a little boy, and getting to work with him in person and becoming a good friend of his. It's just, I don't know how to put it into words, but he's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, you did a great job with those figures, because they definitely hit a lot of people in the nostalgia feels. And I mean, the looks are just right there as far as those eras go. So that's such a great pack. So kudos to you guys for pulling that off. And Shop AEW, we're seeing a lot more things flow through there, the Premier Edition figures. Can you tell us a little more about that line and what we might see in the future?
So the purpose of Shop AEW Premier Edition is an opportunity when it comes to a first-in-the-line figure, or a debut figure. So in the case of Mercedes Moné, it's based on her big business appearance. It's an opportunity for the fans who kind of want more of that high-end collectible. So in the case of Mercedes, with her robe and everything, that we could offer as a first to market through Shop AEW. You still have a chance to get that figure in the main line in a future release. However, if you get the Premier Edition, it comes with additional accessories that maybe you can't fit into the main line at a $20 price point, but it gives us a little bit more room when it's a Shop AEW exclusive. And we also updated our packaging for our Shop AEW exclusives to kind of represent that the Premier Edition is something very special. And so you will see more of those as we have certain celebration of first time in the lines, like Okada's first figure. We wanted to celebrate that in a big way. And so that's a venue that we want to continue to look into and tap into. And it's something that you'll continue to see throughout each wave release.
Well, I'm excited to see what else you have on tap at Comic-Con, all the reveals coming up from the panel, which I'm sure we'll be talking about on Figure Friday next week, and I'll be sharing on WrestlingFigureNews.com. So thank you for doing this, Daniel. Really appreciate it.